Hi guys, welcome to your WeConnect for June 13th and 14th. Today we are going to be telling the rest of Noah's story. So last week we ended where it was raining for 40 days and 40 nights, and today we're going to be talking to the kids about God's promise and the fulfillment of Noah's story. So you'll be in Genesis chapter 8, verses 1 through 9, and verse 17 as well. The question, of course, is whose way is perfect? God's way is perfect is our answer, and our key focus today for the Bible story is God keeps his promises. So we're going to be doing, as you can probably imagine, lots of work with rainbows and colors. So we're going to start with actually a science project today because I want to get the kids excited and prepared for VBS, which starts on Monday. So I would start the process with maybe just introducing VBS and asking, maybe say, raise your hands if you're coming to VBS next week. And we're going to have such a great time learning about God's Son, Jesus, and learning about, his love for us and lots of wonderful things about God's true story through different science experiments. So we're going to do a science experiment today to start our story off. So today's science experiment is really easy. You guys are going to have 2 or 3 of these little buckets, depending on how many kids you have. This is basically just baking soda and Kool-Aid, so it's not toxic at all, but you just don't want the kids, kind of touching it. So you'll have a paper. You will not have a paper. You will have a trash bag and some paper towels. So just lay your trash bag out pretty wide and put your paper towels over it, and you'll have, like I said, 2 or 3, and they'll all have different colors of Kool-Aid, so they'll foam up in different colors. And then all you have to do is just pour some water over top of them, and it'll foam and fizz in a different color. And when you have the 3 colors together, you should have, a portion of a rainbow. And so then you can transition into your story by just, saying something about these rainbows remind me of a rainbow in God's true word, the Bible, and a story that has to do with the rainbow. So you'll remember, again, you'll have Stormy Jane all week long. And so Stormy Jane, it's just kind of a fun way to engage the kids and pull them into your story. And so maybe today you can just say, my name is Angie, and I'm going to tell you the rest of the story of Noah's Ark, and I have my pal Stormy Jane with me. Do you think that Stormy Jane might have, I can't get her on it, Stormy Jane might have wanted to be one of the animals on Noah's Ark? And so kind of go through a little bit of retelling of last week's lesson about Noah following God's direction and building an ark and it raining for 40 days and 40 nights. And then today's lesson is going to be about God's promise, like we talked about. So you'll tell the rest of the story, and you'll say that at some point, after 40 days, it stopped raining, and Noah sent a bird out. He sent a dove at one point, and he sent a dove to go find dry land. And the dove came back, and they didn't have anything, and they sent the dove back out a couple days later, and the dove brought back a branch with some leaves on it. And so Noah knew that there was dry land that he could land on with his family. And so you'll tell the rest of Noah's story, and you'll talk about God delivered them safely to dry land, and that God gave one more thing to Noah. He gave Noah and his family a great promise. He gave us a great promise that he would never flood the earth again. And every time we see the rainbow, we can remember God's promise. So that is your lesson for today, and it's much more detailed. You can read through the lesson notes. Your craft this week is going to be watercolors. So you will have these rainbows, and you can just have the kids color the rainbow in with their watercolors. If you have littler kids or you just really don't like to paint, you can definitely just do crayons instead. And then just talk with the kids through the concept that God keeps his promises. He's never flooded the earth again, and every time we see a rainbow, we can remember God's great promise. And then after your craft, you have another just like simple craft or simple activity if you'd like to do, and it's called rainbow dancing. You'll have scarves or streamers in different colors, different rainbow colors, and just have a music player, and you can just have the kids each have a different color streamer and just kind of dance around with their streamers and remind them of the rainbow and God's promise. And then the last thing you have, of course, is the memory verse, and it's the same as it will be all month. It's 2 Samuel 22:31. God's way is perfect. So just help them remember that. It's a pretty easy one this month, so they'll probably hopefully be able to do it pretty quickly. Just one last thing to note. This Monday, like I said, is VBS. It runs the 15th through the 19th. On the back of your WeTalk, you'll have the flyer for it. If kids have not signed up, they can still sign up online, or they can also come in on Monday morning and register at the door. Again, just encourage kids to bring their friends, their neighbors, maybe people who don't know Jesus. It would be really great for them to get to know Jesus in this really fun way. Also, if we can use as many volunteers as guys want to come. So if you haven't signed up to volunteer, please let us know, and also just encourage the parents that we do have opportunities left available. So hopefully that works for you guys, and have a great June, the second week of June, and we'll see you again.